Jesus Christ, really?
Don't forget to become a member of UnrealEntGaming's Patreon for exclusive manga content and early access. Isn't that right, Seth?
I already joined his Patreon today. Tons of great stuff on there, actually. But did you really have to blow up the city?
Yes.
Blew up the domino. You blew up the dominoes and you're laughing. Do you realize the f***ing crisis here?
And you will be next. Unless you subscribe, like the video, and turn on notifications right now.
Or else what? You'll aggressively scream another man's name for several hours?
Kakarot! Kakarot!
Well, this was certainly something that I did not foresee in having to have it take place with all things considered, and even though I have no doubt that if Raijin were to find out that I currently wield one of the 3 configuration cubes that he seeks, do I only then believe that he will try and stop at nothing to track me down to claim the cube for himself, which is exactly why I must hurry and take action to keep the cube hidden with me until there is a breakthrough within our efforts in having to stop these demons before it's too late.
Our story now continues back within Mechikabura's realm, with Mechikabura's henchmen Gravy, Poutine, and Salsa being shown having to be completely annihilated by the demon god Raijin, to which it was only just as Mechikabura had made his presence known by exiting his palace and having to address the overall situation happening down below was when Mechikabura then went on to respond, "And just what exactly is the meaning of this? For who dares to go and cross over into my domain without my authorization? And more importantly is what exactly happened to my fellow demon warriors who were just right here? For where did you all just go? Wait a minute now. As I am no longer able to sense their life force other than just one of them," Mechikabura continues, "which only means they must have been destroyed while I was inside of my chamber. But how and by whom? Wait, is that?" But of course, Raijin went on to then quickly interrupt upon being shown having to eat Gravy's heart. And so there you finally are, Mechikabura, as I was starting to wonder on when you were going to go and show your face. But now that you are finally here, you and I have a few things that need to be addressed for the time being, demon. And as I don't intend to go and waste my time with you here either, and so let's just get straight to the point then, shall we? With Mechikabura responding, "Lord Raijin, you've been freed? But how? And that energy? What is this strange energy that I sense which is coming from you?" Mechikabura questions. "For why is it that I am able to sense both demonic and angelic energy that is flowing through you like this? And more importantly is why are you even here?" With Raijin responding, "Well, the story of my freedom should be the least of your worries for the time being, as I didn't come here and having to go and explain my return to you here, Mechikabura, but I had rather came here on behalf of going as far as to go and claim what is rightfully mine, demon. And as the first of our kind to go and be declared as king of the demons and the first among our race to be created, what I seek is what you have stolen," Raijin continues, which only goes as far as to explain as to why I'm here. For long ago, while I was trapped within that wretched angelic prison which had restricted my activity from the outside world, and I had learned that you had went and found one of the 3 ancient configuration cubes during your attempted great takeover, and since I know that you have no common knowledge to my own in knowing how important these cubes are, Raijin continues, I am here to go and take it back from you, and as the primordial god of the demons here between us, my authority far supersedes yours, and as the prime authority figure among our kind, and I hereby ask and demand for you to go and hand the cube over to me right right now, Mechikabura, with Mechikabura responding, the 3 ancient configuration cubes? And how exactly do you know that it was I who had went and found and laid claim to this relic while you have been locked away, Mechikabura questions? And more importantly is, why does this so-called cube matter to you so much that you went out of your way to come all the way here and slaughtering my henchmen to go and claim it? Just what kind of power do these so-called cubes that you look for actually contain here, Raijin? With Raijin responding, what these cubes are meant for is none of your concern, demon, for I will simply go on to warn you once, so you best go and open your ears and listen very carefully to what it is that I'm about to go and tell you, demon. As the cosmic configuration cube that you hold is not meant to be carried by lesser beings such as yourself, Raijin continues, and as the oldest and most powerful demon god among you all, I command for you to go and relinquish it to me right now. Otherwise, you are to go and brace yourself for consequences that will go far beyond your imagination, Mechikabura. And as I look forward in having to go and collect all 3, and you are in possession of one of them, Raijin continues, and if that ultimately means that I must carry on and destroy you in order for me to go and claim it, then that's exactly what I will go and do. And so now hand over the cube, with Mechikabura responding, how dare you go and attempt to threaten my life whilst turning your back on me like this, demon? As I can go and care less if you just so happen to predate my authority or not, because now that I can see on just how valuable these configuration cubes are, why should I just go and subject myself and simply having to hand it over to you when I myself can go and claim all 3 for myself instead, Raijin? And as I seem to like this plan a lot better than yours, with Raijin responding, foolish demon, for you are dabbling with a power fragment of history that you cannot possibly hope to comprehend here, Mechikabura. And so you should go on to choose your next words very wisely here towards me, as you should understand that my wrath has no bounds, even if it means having to go and destroy my own kind, Raijin says. And so now surrender your position and hand over the cube, or prepare to witness a power that has shaped the very foundations of your entire existence, and along with all that you happen to just know about our history as demons, Mechikabura. Because if this ultimately means that I will need to go through you in order to lay claim and finally get what I'm after, then I will go and do what I must in order for me to have it, Raijin says. So if you value what you consider to be your life, and if you truly wish to continue to maintain your position in being one of my very own who will serve me at my side, then you will go and bend the knee here and surrender the configuration cube over to me, or you will go on to suffer the same consequences that your former minions had just experienced here against me, Mechikabura. And as I will not go and warn you again, and so now what exactly is your answer going to be? With Mechikabura responding, well, since I now see on what it is that you are after and why you are after it, for I should have known that this configuration cube held tremendous power, but even I didn't go on to grasp the full extent of its true potential, but now I find myself intrigued, Lord Raijin, for if you would go to such lengths to go this far in trying to go and claim it, Mechikabura continues, then perhaps instead of allowing for you to lay claim over such potential, what if I were to go and keep this cube for myself and declare myself as being the one true God who stood above all creation, and from that point going as far as to dictate the course of existence itself? Because instead of having you go and lay claim over all 3 cubes and going as far as to use it for yourself, I, on the other hand, believe that it would be best for me to go and seek such power out and putting you out of your misery as a result, in wiping away the old and making the way for the new. And so now what do you say? With Raijin responding, you are making a grave mistake by standing in your place to go and attempt to challenge me, Mechikabura, and so I say that if you are not willing to go and submit yourself over to my law and surrender the cube in which I seek, then I will go on to pry it from your cold dead hands if I must, especially if it means that I will go and need to do what I must in order to complete my mission by any means necessary. But then, it was only within that very moment as Mechikabura went as far as to dash towards Raijin by going as far as to make the first move, was when Mechikabura then went on to quickly respond, then if you truly wish to try and lay claim over such authority by challenging my own, then allow for me to go and show you on why you are no longer suited in sitting at the throne of power whilst attempting to go and challenge the modern generation of power, Raijin. For there can only ever be one true God King among our kind, and after learning of the details that you had given me on these so-called configuration cubes, Mechikabura continues, it'll be me who will go on to find and use their power in furthering my potential, and I'll make sure that there is no one, not even you, who will go on and stand in the way of having to see that through until the very end, Lord Raijin. But then, it was only as quickly as Mechikabura closed in, with Raijin being shown having to knock Mechikabura back towards the sky, was when Raijin then went on to quickly respond, "You delusional creature, for I can still see that after all these years of leaving you behind and having you take my place while I've been kept locked away, you are still nothing more than just a fragile little child, just as I once remembered you in having to be. For you have went and learned nothing since my original time as ruler," with Mechikabura responding, "How dare you? Still just a child, huh? Well then allow for this child to go and show its elder on what it's truly made of, since the days of his original rule of the demon realm are long behind him. No, please, I pity you for going down this path and challenging me like this, Mechikabura," Raijin responds. "But if there is one thing that you should go and know throughout the course of our entire battle, it is that long are the days as they are far behind us at this point, in going as far as to wish for a way out, when all you are hereby left with are the ruins of your failure, which I will go on to make sure that you remember them personally. And so now watch as I go and turn you into a believer ever so slowly. And as I will admit to you and say that although you've grown quite powerful since my original time as ruler of the underworld, the power in which you use against me currently will crumble beneath the weight of the pressure that you have placed onto yourself by the time this day is through here between us," with Mechikabura responding, "I will never allow for any other demon to go and come in the way of what I have already taken, which is mine. And is that so? Then you will have to go and fight much harder than this if you wish to go and keep this and having it be yours, Mechikabura. Or maybe you are slowly starting to see that you can't, even whilst trying to do your best to crush me, because unless you think that I am anything like you've imagined me and having to be anything close to what I was before, then just you wait until I start to go and use more of my newly merged power here against you, and as only then will you start to become a believer once I start to show you," to which as Mechikabura then made his way towards Raijin, even whilst narrowly having to escape Raijin's attack, with Mechikabura now shown making his way ever so closer towards Raijin, was when Mechikabura then went on to shout, "Well fine, then if I can't blast you away, then I'll just go and do the next best thing in having to tear you apart if I simply can't blow you away into millions of pieces, Raijin. And so now I've got you." Wait, what the? He's gone, but how did he just go and do that? And more importantly is, where did he just go and run off to? But then, it was only just within that very moment from out of nowhere as Raijin went on to make his way in by kicking Mechikabura in the face, was when Raijin then went on to quickly respond, "And then since when was I ever known as being someone who would simply go and run away from any battle that I had ever found myself in, Mechikabura? And as you would be mistaken if you think that I would ever go and run away from any battle that I would go and find myself in being a part of, even here against you, demon. And since I always stood at the edge of battle against even those who were once considered in being far stronger than I was, through the ways in which of having to go and battle both angels and gods alike," Raijin continues, "and as the very nature which I am made of should be more than enough to go and show you that I am one who stands to battle without any fear. And as it is only because of this which you and I couldn't be any more different, as you are within your limits, whereas I am without them," Raijin says. "And then since I am now without any limits, and with my power now woven into standing across even against the mightiest creatures who predate our very own kind, and I have forged my destiny into becoming an unstoppable force even by the standards of the gods and angels alike. For even if they can't go and hope to match my power in battle, then what makes you believe that you would fare any differently here against me, Mechikabura?" "Oh no! You will never back test me, so as long as I am able to continue to draw upon air within this body, Mechikabura shouts upon being shown firing multiple energy blasts at Raijin. And as once your throne has fallen, let my strength in leading our race be what leads to your downfall once again. But then, it was only just upon with Mechikabura's sudden shock as Raijin was beginning to collect and having to condense all of Mechikabura's attacks and having to form one big one up above him was when Raijin then went on to respond, "Feeble placement holder, for do you recall what you had once went and told your enemies a long time ago?" Raijin questions. "That you would go as far as to strip them of everything that they are and that you would erase and reduce them in becoming shells of who they once were. Well, how poetic it is that I will now do unto you with exactly on how you once vowed to go and do unto others, Mechikabura. But unlike you, I will go on to ensure that you feel every bit of what I'm about to go and give you, so that way you may come to understand on what it's like to be broken down and helpless." With a shocked Mechikabura responding, "Wait, you are able to somehow find a way and go and manipulate my energy attacks and convert them into passive power? But wait a minute, how are you able to go and do that?" With Raijin responding, "I am capable of far more than what you are able to understand, and now that I have that fallen angel's power that courses through my very body. And since you had already decided to go and make your bed here against me," Raijin continues, "let this hereby now go and serve its purpose, so I hope that you take this moment to go and reflect upon your actions, because I'm about to go and give you a dose of your very own medicine." "No, but this can't be possible. Wait, just hold on for just a moment. It doesn't have to continue to be like this if you just wait." But it was already too late, because with a gigantic explosion now being shown having to take place beneath Raijin was when Raijin went on to oversee the battlefield by then responding, "As if your frivolous power could ever come close in comparing to the sheer strength that I possess is almost laughable. But for what it's worth, if I didn't go and take action and evolve myself the way I did, then I have no doubt that I would have more than likely have fallen to the power the likes of which you currently possess. But needless to say, what an absolute tragedy, you pathetic creature. And here you really thought that you stood a chance in crushing what simply cannot be crushed, but maybe now you can go and see firsthand now with your very own eyes on how completely hopeless you truly are to stop me, demon." With Mechikabura having to gaze on up and then responding, "Oh, but how? How are you so strong? And how are you able to go and acquire this much power? For I don't understand, but if you were able to acquire the power of that former angel Murno, then how are you able to go and sustain yourself like this? As this shouldn't be possible for me to go and fall to the likes of this. And so now how did you go and do it?" With Raijin responding, "You know, I should almost thank you for challenging me, demon, for I needed this test and having it be worthy of my newfound power. And what better opponent than the decrepit would-be ruler of the demon realm, who was only in the position that he was in simply because I had allowed for him to be. For the very moment I went on to take that fallen angel Murno's power for myself, the very moment his divine essence became a part of me, and I knew that there would no longer be any true rivals left for me to go and challenge, and now you are living proof of this, Mechikabura. But even now, as I stand here before you whilst reducing you down into what you currently are, that is shown barely standing in front of me," Raijin continues, "just because I was recently freed doesn't mean I was born yesterday, demon." Raijin went on to then quickly grab onto Mechikabura's staff, "because while you may have been able to go and lie along with trick the others, you should have already known better than to go and try to do the same with me, demon. And since I already have a feeling that this staff of yours is something that I may need to go and inspect for myself. Concealing the cube within this orb was far too predictable, as if you thought that by hiding the first of these cubes from me was actually going to work, and thinking that I wasn't going to be able to find it was a mistake. Because while I would have already assumed that you and your kind would have long discovered the secrets of these cubes, Raijin continues, upon being shown having to unscrew the orb and squeezing it, and it doesn't go as far as to surprise me that while you and your kind that followed in my footsteps and having to rule in my place while I've been away, you've appeared to always search for your purpose on the surface, but had never once been smart enough to search from within. For there it finally is, the first of the 3 mighty gateway cubes, as I have longed for the very day ever since I was captured and having to finally see this day through, and now that I have, only 2 more cubes remain, as a desperate Mechikabura then went on to quickly shout, "Curse you, Raijin! For if you were to go and take me down within the process of having to complete your mission, then I am going to see to it firsthand that I go and take a very large portion of you with me." As it was only within that very moment, seconds later, with Mechikabura attempting to blast Raijin, with Raijin being shown having to completely stop Mechikabura's attack with simply one finger, was when Raijin then went on to quickly respond, "But if you truly think that you are within the range of power to do anything in this situation that will work in having to stop me," Raijin continues, "then I hate to have to break it to you, but, well, with that fallen angel Murno's power combined and working alongside my own, you could never hope to stand a chance against me no matter what it is that you go and try to do here to survive. Because this right here means more to me than you could ever possibly hope to imagine," Raijin continues, "as it is the key to an ancient gateway that will guide me into ruling over all points of life across all timelines and dimensions, in first having to go and reveal to me on what lies beyond our current understanding of the multiverse which we exist within. Because why stop here when I can go and lay claim over everything that is within the realm of existence instead? For you should have been more careful with the items that you had carried, because I can go as far as to assure you that you will never go and have this opportunity in holding one of these ever again, demon. And so now gaze upon your ruin, Mechikabura, as with your flesh torn and your spirit crushed beneath the weight of my fury," Raijin continues. "Do not waste the little breath that you still have left within your meaningless defiance here against me, and tell me what I need to know. As I care not of your pleas for mercy, as my sole purpose is to seek out the second configuration cube, so now tell me where it is right now, because if you don't, then I will go and unleash upon you a torment so profound and so cruel that the echoes of your screams will be heard throughout every corner of every universe as a testament of your undying failure. For you were never truly a god, but more of a placement holder until I returned, and now that I am here, your time is over. And so now, where is the second configuration cube? Speak of its location, or I will continue to squeeze what's left of your pathetic soul within my hand and devour your very essence until you are simply no longer able to exist, Mechikabura. And so this is going to be your one and only last chance. And so now tell me what you know about where the second cube is, or you will face my wrath in its entirety and have your soul be devoured forever, demon, with Mechikabura responding, "Wait, enough, I beg of you, so please, I will tell you on what I know, for all I know is that long ago, I had heard rumors of that second configuration cube being in possession of that scheming vermin warlord Demigra, as I remember on how it was once said that he just so have happened to have found such a relic, but what he plans to go and do with it, or if he knows anything more about its power, I do not know, but if you wish to go and seek this out and claim it, then you will have to go and rip it from his cold, twisted hands, since that is all of the knowledge that I have in regards to such things, as this is all I know. And so now please, have mercy upon me, Lord Raijin, for I did not ever think that the rumors of your return were ever going to come true, and so please, have mercy on my soul and grant me a second chance in kneeling before you whilst being at your service, Mechikabura says, as I do not know on where any of the other cubes are, with the only exception being the ones that I have heard, in understanding that Demigra carries the second, as I doubt that he is even aware of its true nature, along with what they are all capable of once all three are gathered together, with Raijin responding, Demigra, you say? Now there's a name that I haven't uttered in ages, and yet it makes perfect sense, for that scheming wretch always did have an eye in wanting to obtain forbidden relics, slithering within the shadows and waiting for his moment to strike. But it matters not, Raijin continues, for all roads lead to me in the end, and with the first configuration cube now within my possession, it will only be a matter of time before I go and claim the second as well. But you should be honored, Mechikabura, as in your final miserable moments you have secured your place in history, but not as a king nor as a conqueror, but as a stepping stone towards my fulfillment, demon. For you are but a broken remnant of an era that no longer matters, Raijin continues upon being shown having to flick Mechikabura's own attack right back and through him, and for that I thank you for keeping our name alive, Mechikabura. However, the very moment you stood before me, your destiny from then on was sealed, as I was always going to take everything away from you one way or another, for there can only ever be but one true king of the demon realm and beyond. But tell me, Raijin further went on to then question, did you ever stop to think that there was always something waiting that was far beyond you? Something that was far darker and something that was far more ruthless than even your twisted little mind could possibly go on to go and comprehend there, demon? No? Well then allow me to go and introduce myself properly to you, as this will be the first and the last time that you ever will, for I am Lord Raijin, and I am the last nightmare that you will ever come to know. As a pleading Mechikabura went on to look up by then responding, wait, please spare me, spare my life and let me go, and allow for me to go and prove myself to you by honoring your name at your side and being someone to prove their worth to you, Lord Raijin. I beg of you, sire, with Raijin responding, you know, very few creatures get the privilege of playing a role at my side, no matter how small in a cause as grand as mine, but the problem with tools, Mechikabura, is that once they have been used, they must be discarded. And as you have now given me everything that I require, and now there is no more need for you to stick around by, for this is where your story comes to an end, as the demon realm will move forward from here on without you. To which it was only suddenly within that very moment, as Raijin went on to unleash a gigantic blast and having to completely decimate Mechikabura further, was when Raijin then went on to quickly continue, and so now perish alongside with those who stood against my mission in having your legacy be destroyed along with your miserable and useless existence. You wretched fools, for there is no throne in the demon realm but my own that exists, and no other law but my own that stands, Raijin continues, and yet, time and time again, these arrogant little vermin rise from the filth, diluting themselves into believing that they could carve out their own dominion here in my shadow. And while you were the latest to go and try here, Mechikabura, you most certainly won't be the last, but no matter. Because now that I have on what I came here in looking for, my path moving forward is now now clear, as the final pieces to my ultimate plan are now beginning to finally take shape, and very soon Demigra will learn on just how futile his little schemes have always been if he dares to go and stand in opposing me, as he is nothing but a lowly parasite feeding on the scraps left behind by those stronger than himself, but he is not greater, for I am the one who stands as the greatest, and very soon he will go on to suffer just as Mechikabura had suffered if he refuses to go and bend the knee. Raijin continues, and if he does not go and give me what I seek, which there are only 2 more cubes that remain, then I will rip the second configuration cubes from his lifeless hands if it means having to get what I desire. But now to go and find him, for he was always known to conceal his essence where no other deity can go and find him, but where to look is the question, Raijin continues, for Murno's memory should give me an idea on where he might be hiding, and so now where are you? Ah yes, there you are, Raijin continues, for Murno's highlighted sense of spirit awareness along with his knowledge in being able to detect the life force of residing deities have proven to be very much useful to me, and as I am now starting to see on how he was able to go and track down most of the gods that he was hunting, but even now, nevertheless, I found you, Demigra, and since I now know that you are in possession of the second cube in which I seek, you are either going to give me what I demand from you, or I will go and pry it away from your cold, dead hands if you refuse to obey me, demon. As it was only right then and there now, during that moment, where the Beyond Dragon Ball Super Story of the Dark Masters, the official Murno sequel, manga chapter number 32 special, then comes to a close.
Well, actually, I'll go ahead and take it from here, as I do want to go as far as to address something very important with our dear viewers at the moment. As before I go and give you the following information, if you aren't already a member of Unreal's Patreon community, then you are truly missing out on so much without you even knowing, because not only is the next episode already on the page, but if you want to support all of the manga content that you see and gain access to tons of exclusives along the way that range from a variety of different things, then we do encourage for you all to become members of our Patreon community today, for we will link everything down within the description box below and pinned comment section as well. Now, I will go as far as to say that even though I was not expecting to see on what it was that I had just witnessed go down involving both Raijin and Mechikabura, I'm afraid that things will only continue to grow worse and worse if something isn't done to help stop Raijin from achieving his goals, because with the Grand Minister alongside the Omni Kings immobilized and completely absent from this current scenario, then I'm afraid we are all on our own unless something were to change and change quickly before time runs out, and because of this, you do not want to go and miss out on what is about to happen coming up next. So we hope that you all enjoyed today's video, and before you leave, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up by smashing that like button on your way out, as well as also subscribing to UnrealEntGaming's channel for tons of new Dragon Ball content. So with that, we thank you all so much for watching, as we'll be seeing you all again for the next one.
Hello! Did you know that you can stay up to date with the latest Dragon Ball content by simply subscribing to UnrealEntGaming?
Also, don't forget to follow on these social media platforms, you sexy son of a bitch.
Roshi!
Silent Cell, me and the fans are having a moment. That's right. I know what you want. Extra long, thick Dragon Ball content. Quality reviews with flawless editing. Yeah, you'd like that, wouldn't you? You dirty bitch.
Roshi, the fuck?
God damn it, I need them to subscribe, Cell.
And we're demonetized.
Yeah, screw it. Let's cut to the video.